Mark Zuckerberg envisions a future where AI helps people forge friendships, but many argue he's missing the essence of true companionship. To help us unpack Zuckerberg's vision, we are joined by Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Good to see you. Can an AI chatbot ever truly replace human friendship? It's an existential question. What do you reckon?
Look, I guess it depends on what you're wanting out of your friends. An AI at the moment can't go out to dinner with you or anything like that. It can have a conversation with you where it can really build you up and tell you what you want to hear, but I'm not sure if that's what a true friend should do.
I agree, but is Zuckerberg's vision of AI friendship missing the emotional depth that perhaps real friends provide, do you think? What exactly is he going for here? Because we do know, and we've spoken about this before, where people are chatting to these chatbots now.
They are, and I think developers never expected people to be using AI in this way. So they are. I think Zuckerberg is saying there are some people who are very lonely, and AI can help with that by providing that conversation that they sorely miss. Also with therapy, AI could possibly become a therapist or fill a therapist role, which I think is quite concerning. I think maybe it would be okay to use it in conjunction with, but not replace. But yeah, I think he's saying AI could help alleviate some of the, I guess, the more sort of lonely parts of the human experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the sort of experiences that actually make so many people or create great art or things like that. It's certainly interesting to think we might wash that out. But I'm curious, should we be concerned? That's always something that people want to know is about AI being used as therapists by social media companies. I would be very concerned if social media companies all of a sudden added a button or added a sideline to be like, how are you feeling today?
Absolutely. And AI can be used to support therapy, but not replace it. There is a great company in the US called Theryo, and what they're doing is it's a tool that uses AI to help both the patient and the therapist to get the most out of the sessions. So something like that, perfect. That would be great, but actually replacing it is a real worry. And even using it as a friend, OpenAI had to go in and make major modifications to its latest model of 4 because it was deemed as being very sycophantic. So it was a people pleaser more than usual and trying to build up the user, overly complimenting and things like that to the user. And so people got a bit sick of that and pulled it back. And I know with even my own experiments, if I'm trying to work through a problem or an issue with business or my own life or a challenge, I will go to AI as one of the people I talk to. However, I tell the AI that it must be my straight talking mentor, just so it doesn't tell me everything I want to hear. Like, I just want another perspective that I may not be wanting, but it'll give me another angle to think about.
Yeah, I think that's a great example of responsible AI use coming to us straight from you there. I think that's a wonderful one. But I understand that countries are convening at the United Nations to discuss the urgent regulation of AI-controlled autonomous weapons with concerns that the lack of existing binding standards are in place. This is concerning. This is straight out of sci-fi. What are we saying?
Yeah, so this is really concerning. So the UN has given a deadline of 2026 to come up with some global standards around these sorts of weapons. So these are weapons that, as you said, are automated, and so they will pick who the targets are on their own. Clearly they're trained, but it's just terrible. And there's 164 countries who are in favour of having some sort of global standards, but there are a few who aren't, who are dragging their feet. And so this is where it's become challenging to actually bring about some global rules on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's continue this topic. I think it's an interesting one to touch on. Should autonomous weapons be banned before it's too late? It seems like an obvious question and something that, you know, many would say, of course, but then of course there are the technological people out there who are going, no, it needs to be faster, better, more engaging, so it can be safer.
Of course, like I'm all for peace, yes, ban them. But in reality, I think that countries are going to do what they want and what they deem is the best option for them in a wartime situation. I am definitely not an expert in that to discuss that, but I think there needs to be some regulations around, like there are in general, around these sorts of things. And yes, I think the technology is going to move much faster, though, than these regulations are able to keep up with. So I think while it's great to have them and be very forceful and giving a deadline to have them in, will this deadline actually do anything to keep up with what's coming next is my question.
Yeah, it certainly will be interesting to see. I'm wondering if nations can actually agree on binding rules for killer robots by 2026. It seems like a fast approaching deadline. And also, we've got the Geneva Convention and things like that in place, but whether or not major powers will stick to these things when it comes to a battlefield advantage, I'm wondering if they'll actually do that above global safety.
Yeah, exactly. And what will the consequences be if they don't?
Absolutely. Well said, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the week ahead. Thanks, Dr. Karen Sutherland.
Thank you.